And good morning, and welcome to Truth to Power. And we are very, very pleased to have you viewing us this morning. And we hope that wherever you're viewing us from or listening to us from, that you are in a safe environment because we know that there's going to be a little bit of snow that's going to be hitting sometime this afternoon. They're saying that we're not getting feet of snow, but they're saying we're getting a few inches of snow. But if you're Michiganders, you know how it is when it comes down to January, February. These are the months that we tend to get a lot of snow. So whatever you do, be safe, stay warm, and also too, bring the pets in because this is not the time to have dogs or cats or anybody, that knows that they've got cats or dogs outside to let them be out in this frigid temperatures and stuff. So we have a power packed couple hours that we're going to spend with you this morning. And we're praying for a lot of folks today. We're praying for all the families that are affected by those torrential flames that's going on in California, in the Los Angeles area, and we pray that those families, get some kind of shelter and be able to go and realize too that there's a lot of people that are in that path of those torrential fires. So again, look out for your neighbor and make sure that you get to a place of safety and look out for, like I said, other people too, to make certain that they're and contact your loved ones. There's a lot of people here in the Detroit area that have loved ones out in California, so it's great that you are calling, you're reaching out to them, and those that are in the California area, call and let your loved ones know that in other parts of the United States that you are safe and sound, because you definitely don't want them to be worried sick trying to see if you have made it to some sort of safety, from the fires as well. Um, those out in the eastern part of the United States, we pray that you find comfort, find safety, find warm environment because we know that that polar vortex is hitting, a lot of states that you normally is not indigenous to having snow. So we pray that those families are also able to go and find shelter, from the snow as well too. And I also pray for safe travels for my family, my APRI Detroit Downriver family, that's heading down to Austin, Texas. They should be there now for the MLK conference that they're having in Austin. So again, to Andrea Hunter and others that went down to Austin yesterday, we pray that they have safe travels, at the same time. And also keep other loved ones in your prayers and your thoughts. We're keeping our president here, R.J. Watkins, in our thoughts and prayers as well as anyone that has family members that may be going through some health challenges. This has been a real tough beginning of this month because a lot of people have had issues when it comes down to the, I believe it's called the norovirus that's been affecting a lot of people and having stomach aches. And then also, too, a lot of people have had a lot of issues when it comes down to flu. And so we definitely want to keep everybody in prayer. When your doctors tell you to take your vitamins, take whatever medication that they prescribe to you, take it, because we want to make sure that everybody stays healthy and we want everybody to keep doing what they need to do to make 2025 a very productive year. Okay, there's a lot going on, and we're going to talk about it. We've got two special guests on the show with us today. Norman Clement, as everybody knows, is definitely no stranger to Truth to Power. And Joe is a newbie on the Truth to Power set. So he's been on with us a couple of weeks ago, and we're very, very fortunate to have him back again with us today. So Norman, Joe, welcome to Truth to Power today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you for having me.
Thank you.
And let's kind of dig deep. We're going to kind of touch upon several subjects today. We're going to talk a little bit about politics. As everybody knows, there's a inauguration that's going to be going on in another, 10 days from now. So there's an inauguration. There's going to be a new president. I guess he kind of feels like he's going to be the new sheriff in town. And he's got his deputies surrounding him. But he was our president 45. Now he'll be president 47 as well. And one thing too, before we go on, since we're on the topic of politics, definitely want to extend our heartfelt condolences and prayers to the family of President Jimmy Carter. I know a lot of people probably viewed the homegoing service that they did for Jimmy Carter, yesterday, and it was just interesting seeing all of the past presidents, living presidents and their wives, first ladies, and also vice presidents that were there for the homegoing service. And I thought that President Biden, gave a pretty strong testimony. But then seeing all the people that were, aligned, especially in that second row. That second row was powerful. Looking at, seeing President-elect Trump, his wife, Obama, and then looking in terms of, say, the Bushes, and then also the Clintons, all there together. And then behind them, somebody I hadn't seen in a long time was former, Vice President Gore.
Yeah.
Along with Vice President Pence.
Yep.
So it was I would have loved to have been the fly on the wall to hear some of the conversations that they may have had off camera.
Yeah, definitely in that back room.
Word on the street, Washington, D.C. is my home, so I'm connected with a lot of the folks there. And they said there's a rumor that they drew straws who was going to sit by Trump and Obama, as President Obama being himself, he said, I got this. He
didn't need to draw straws.
Right.
Like,
he's
he's
a gangster, period. So he doesn't fear anything. So that was nice.
Now we're saying gangster in a real affectionate way.
In an affectionate way,
okay.
Right. We don't want y'all to think that he's a real gangster, because some of y'all will take this. Well, Joe said this or that.
Right.
Come on, y'all need to stop. We need to have a sense of humor at a time. But President Carter was a great man. At the time when he was president, I was a Republican then, and I remember he came to one of the forts where I was stationed at, and it was just the reverence that we had for him. I mean, he just respected us. You know what I mean? It's different, when you're military people, and yes, we're supposed to do eyes right, and, the president is here, he's the commander in chief. But when he talked to us, it wasn't about me being a soldier. It was, Joseph Person, how's your family? How you doing? How are the other troops doing? This is how he talked to all of us. Mm-hmm. That was just a good feeling, you know what I mean? It wasn't about him being, the head honcho or the commander in chief. It was just a man-to-man conversation. That really felt good.
Well, that's interesting, Joe, that you bring up, especially because we know you've got a military background. And there was some comments that I saw on Facebook yesterday where some people were commenting about President-elect Trump didn't have his hand on his heart when they were doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Mm-hmm. And what's your thoughts on that?
Let me educate y'all.
Because I saw everybody else did, and we go back to that Colin Kaepernick, and
Let me go back. Let me tell y'all where that started from. First of all, until Ronald Reagan came into office, you didn't see a lot of people doing it. I challenge y'all, go back and look. Once he put his hand across his heart, everybody started doing that. For example, me as a military man, when they play the Star Spangled Banner, if I have a military hat, like your baseball cap, I salute.
Salute, right.
I salute. But if I'm have a regular hat on, anything else, I place my hand across my heart. Mm-hmm. Folks, we're dealing with a gentleman here that has no integrity, no character, no moral fiber. He's liable to do anything. But people do things. What is wrong with putting your hand across your heart? It's okay. But because President Ronald Reagan did it, that's when people started doing it. Okay?
Yeah, and Joe, you said something that's pointed that people are upset, going around saying all the shock and awe about, he didn't put his hand on his heart. This man has been doing this since 2016. Y'all know what type of character he has in, and the shock and awe is like, all right, I'm over that. Y'all knew who y'all got. Let's stop it. This is other issues that just stop it. But what I did see at the funeral was that with Obama, is that someone, you can tell Trump admires Obama. He wants to be Obama so much.
Oh my God! You
saw the interaction where that's why he says
the body
I got
language.
It. That's why I said, Joe, your inside says no. I got it because I know somebody that wants to be me so bad. I could sit there and be myself. Now, if Michelle was with him, probably because she can't hide it. But Obama has a way to where he has such mastery of the situation where he can sit there and have a conversation with you, even though he knows deeply down
you hate him.
You hate him, but you hate him because
you want to be like him.
You respect him.
Right.
Yeah.
You respect him. And so the politic region right now, man, is so much going on, but is at a tipping point where Dems are looking for leadership. It's not just in the national scene, but also in the state where we're at right now. Also, nationally, Biden is leaving the White House, but he's also laid some foundations where there is no harm. As of right now, this will be the first time ever in the next 4 years a U.S. president is not in charge of NATO.
You know, let me go there.
Because that was when I heard that. Yes, I said, "Whoa, wait a minute."
You know, it's first of all, I want to go back to Ukraine.
Yeah,
Ukraine is in the trouble that they're in. All of this craziness that's happened to them, and Russia trying to take over, is because they didn't join NATO. If you join, Zelensky, he straddled the fence. If he had went on and joined NATO, see, one attack on one of us is attack on all of us. Do you know at 9/11, I can't even think of the name, and it will come to me before we're finished. The little country is so small, they maybe have 10 people. They may have 2 soldiers, and yet when 9/11 happened, their president picked up the phone and called George Bush Jr. and said, "We got you. That was attack on you." They sent their 2 guys to fight with us. NATO, that's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It's incredible in terms of what they can do collectively together.
Right.
And as you say, I heard that, and so you validated. I had heard that yesterday. I said, "Nah, come on."
Nah.
But they're taking it away because of the individual who wanted to pull America out of NATO his last 4 years in office.
Right.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and then we'll see what happens with that. So it might be the UK might be taking a leadership role, or maybe France, or might be Switzerland or Denmark, because Greenland is part of Denmark. And so everyone knows in that NATO is about sharing intelligence, but also stopping major wars. Small wars come into major United Nations wars. So they also, with that being said, they may finally fast track to get into NATO. And that may stop some of the stuff that Putin's doing on the other side. But on top of that is that the bills he last, there's no extended drilling going on down in the Gulf of Mexico or other areas. It's going to be harder for him to implement those drilling plans that are going on. And also, too, he has all really releasing all those documents out that are coming out probably today at this point on the investigation with sealed documents. Right now, he should be getting sentenced. He'll be the first man to get sentenced to, sentence for the case with Eugene Carroll case and the tax case today. And so when he becomes president, he'll be the first president in history as someone who has committed
a convicted felon.
And
34 counts, people. 34 counts.
And the money that is due, he has to pay. So that not just the $10 million, but that $487 million he got to pay.
Well, he's not going to have to worry about any of that because the presidency, basically, from where I sit and what I'm seeing and hearing, is for hire. So the decision is going to be made. You know, he has deals that his son has, what, $2 billion deal from Saudi Arabia, where they just gave him $2 billion. If somebody from Saudi Arabia gives any one of us $200 million, let alone $2 billion, we're going to be investigated.
Right.
So I'm just trying to understand what's going on.
I mean, it's the first time where elected officials are flirting with billionaires. Billionaires have paid all this stuff. They bought everyone. Mm-hmm. Elon Musk is going to be there because he's paid $240 million of good money.
That's what we know.
No,
of.
that's what we know of. That's what we know of, and there's some other allegations out there too. But that's a rabbit hole we'll deal down later. But the thing about that is that we looking at this. What I'm looking for right now, and the groups right now, what can we do on the ground? And so our turn is to looking locally about, far as number one, to protect ourselves, protect our children, but also. It's also a house cleaning also for us.
Yeah.
We need to find out who is a Democrat, just like they do. They have rhinos, or, it's one thing to be a moderate, but there are core principles to be a part of the Democratic Party that you have to stand with.
Yes.
And we actually need to find out, do we have those who are with us
or against us?
Against us. Like, there's a saying that some fraternities do, somebody's trying to sneak in the frat. You know what I'm saying? In other words, so that's what we need to do as a Democratic Party. That really goes down. It's time to not chin check, but it's also fact check folks. Are you really with us or who you're against us? And that's what we really got to do, dog. That's what we got to do.
And
now, you said rhinos. Explain that to our audience.
So rhinos are Republicans in name only. And we have some dinos that Democrat in name only, but they do everything the Republican way.
We got dinos and we got
rhinos. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's how it works. But we really need to delve deeper in those who are supposed to be supporting us.
And we need to stop dealing with Democrats in the Democratic Party who represent us, like you say, in name only. But when you see their voting records, one of the things that I found out in Washington, D.C., looking at U.S. Congress folks, and the same with the state legislature here, when you look at some of the big bills,
mm-hmm.
I see something that just jumps out of pattern, that they're conspicuously absent. Mm. That was the time they went on the book tour. That was the time they took the vacation. And here's the thing, in Washington, D.C., as well as the state legislature, these bills are planned weeks, months in advance. This
right.
is important. This is important to the people of the state, the people of the country. You need to be there to vote. A lot of these bills don't go through because we weren't there, or they vote present. Mm-hmm. What is present but a no vote? You're helping the other side.
Right, and it's basically you're not going on record of voting against it.
Right.
And especially now with these bills coming up and the bills that died during Lame Duck, I'm thinking about the Mothering Justice bill with the Mommy Bus, which it should have never been a part of reproductive freedom,
right?
Because it was all in the same. Then also I'm thinking about those with the ghost gun bill that died.
Yes.
I'm thinking about right now with Medicaid, Medicare extensions, and also thinking about the community benefits agreement that the state aid funding to community groups and organizations like New Era Detroit. Force Detroit, that were community organizations on the ground helping to fight crime along with officers. That was really building out community policing. And those bills show that Detroit has another downturn of murders just because of the benefits of the money from that agreement. And not to reenact that agreement or say, it didn't go committee. No, it went through committee. Not to bring that up and not to do anything about that. That community members are stepping up, who've got funding to aid police. That means, guess what? Community policing is going on. That means I can know each other. I know I can trust that person. I know I can intervene when the police don't need to intervene. And it keeps the whole community safe. Crime was down.
I got one other thought with that. You see, what you said was they put money into the community.
Yep.
We're talking politics. Democrats put money into the community. All of us who are chairs of community know the community. If Trump won by 100,000 votes here. If you had given Southfield or Oakland County another $100,000, you'd have given Wayne County $250,000. If you'd have gave Washington $1.5 million and Macomb, we could have went and got those 100,000 votes. And that's why I'm saying when you look at the monies, if you put money into the community, you can see the dividends, you can see the results. What you're saying here about the gun violence has gone down. Violent crimes has gone down. Why? Because they put money into the communities. That Malik Shabazz, and I have the greatest respect for that brother. I met him 25 years ago.
The Detroit 300.
Right, the Detroit 300 that he has. But I met him 25 years ago. And I was like, this brother was out on the corner protecting these sisters just walking across the street that were having trouble with the gangbangers. And the gangbangers just kind of like, okay, let's just leave this alone. And they went about their business. So that shows that if you're involved in the community, spend some money in the community, get involved in the community. That's why I come back to what you're saying. Everything is going down. Why? Because you're putting the money where it needs to be, right there in the community.
And right there in that community base, that strong, that community is being built on. These organizations are fostering a great relationship with officers and also with the people and members there. Community people are safe. People could call the police, or they could call, hey, I know somebody from Force Detroit. I know somebody from New Era. Let me talk. Come and holler at Zeke and see what's going on. When those situations at the gas stations and situations at stores, New Era Detroit's always out there. And so, and also, let's also piggyback with house cleaning. There's a notion that some groups should not be invited to the political spaces.
Yes.
And I'm going to say it. Too far often, New Era Detroit is not in those political spaces, purposely not invited.
Why do you think that?
I have no idea, but that should be changing. Like every group that's a part of the organization needs to be there. No matter if there's personal ills or ideologies or egos that have to die. Now, we talked about that. And just like you said, Joe, we talked about the campaign. If the Democratic Party did this one strategy that's been going around since they did in D.C., what Mayor Berrien did was hire in your target areas.
You know, I can speak to that.
Yeah, you can speak to that.
I can really speak to that.
Speak to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm one of the folks that Marion Barry, I was 13 years old, and he gave me a job as an organizer going out. I didn't know it was an organizer. It was he said, young brother, go to this door and give out this literature. I'm running for, a community advocate, a committee. I'm like, okay. I went out there and passed it out. He comes and gives me like $10. I was like, wow, $10? So he said, can you do this again for me? I went and did that every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because he was giving me $10 a day. So we talking $30 a week. Ladies, $30 today is $30 back then is $3,000 today, okay? I went and we knocked those doors. The man won in a landslide. Everybody that ran came through us. And all of us on the ground, that's the ground game. That's the ground work. Spend money in the neighborhood to the people that know. I knew Barry Farms. I knew Ward 8. That's where Marion Barry came. I knew that's where I'm born and raised in
Right.
Anacostia, Washington, D.C. I know it like the back of my hand.
And you speak to that because guess what? So many people came in from out of town,
Yes.
from the suburbs, or I don't know that side of town. And so, yeah, we walk those doors. No, I don't want those doors because I'm scared to go in the neighborhood.
Yes.
But if I live in that neighborhood that's targeted, I see there every day, guess what? I don't mind knocking on Pookie's door or Ray's door because Ray know me. I could talk to Ray. And so those strategies that they keep saying, oh, yeah, we'll take a look into that. No, their leadership needs to hear that now because they'll take the idea, they'll think about it, but, well, we don't know. No, you have to do that. And that's the thing we need to talk about, Joe, is that we are the experts now. And it's been proven fact that this election happened, that we lost because we were not focal point, we were not taught, nobody listened to us. Now we are the experts.
I
Well, hold up.
I'm not
We gotta take a quick break.
Okay.
So hold that thought, Joe.
Okay.
Hold that thought, Norman. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. Joe Person, Norman Clement. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we'll be back.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
Muscles, joints, or feet tired, achy, or distressed? Tried everything? Ringmaster Rubbing Oil is a vintage topical pain reliever, trusted for over 70 years, with a rich formula for the treatment of stubborn aches and pains. Packaged in a glass bottle for purity, our liquid can also be used in warm water for foot soaks and compresses. A little goes a long way. Try our time-tested formula, available in several sizes.
Make a donation to WHBR-TV and receive 2 2-ounce bottles of Ringmaster Rubbing Oil for $25. Call 313-868-6612.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
All media platforms are engaged. Copy.
Get ready to launch your show or product.
Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that.
Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Lines are open, so if you'd like to call in, you can call in. The phone numbers that you can call in are 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, or 313-868-4336. So we were talking before about some things that probably needs to be done when it comes down to the state, when it comes down to looking at, we always talk about this, Joe, Norman, about the one thing that you can always do if you're not satisfied with an elected official is you can vote them out.
Yes.
Yep.
There's elections that are coming up this year.
Yeah.
For mayor of Detroit, city council of Detroit, and other local elections that are coming up. So if you have people that you may have where you're dissatisfied in how they've done some things or how they've not done some things, this is the time to really think about and look at their record to see whether or not if you want to continue to support or to find somebody else to support.
And that is very, very true. Also, there's another election too. If you're a part of a party election of a new vision of Democratic Party is having their election. If you're a Democrat, and you want to participate in the new party leadership, there is a convention coming up February 22nd down at Huntington Place. There you can, number one, you have to be a registered Democrat, but also you have to, your bills registration has to be paid by January 21st. By then, so you have a standing vote in your district. You could come there. If you have issues with the leadership, if you don't like how things are going, and you are a Democrat, you voted Democrat, and you want your voices heard, again, go on to the MichiganDems.com or .org, and go on the website. Make sure you are registered as a Democrat and pay you pay a fee. And then
no, you don't. Let me correct that.
Oh, go ahead, correct me.
You don't have to be. You can either pay $10 or $0. You don't have to pay anything.
Oh,
so I tell everybody, sign up. You can donate later, but get signed up. If you don't have the money now, go ahead and sign up and register to be a part of the Michigan Democratic Party. And you need to be registered and signed up. If you're an elected official or precinct delegate, you can come and sign up on the day of the convention, February 22nd. But if you're not, you need to be signed up and everything by January the 21st.
Oh, okay.
Which is 30 days before the convention.
30 days before the convention.
The other thing, for those of you that may not know about the convention and what goes on that day, is the early part of the day are the caucus elections.
Yes.
So you may have the Progressive Caucus, the Black Caucus, the
Rural Caucus.
Right, all those different caucuses.
Yeah.
And they usually meet, it starts usually at 9 o'clock, and it goes for an hour and a half. Yeah. And they have their elections for their president or other people that may be on their board. But the other thing that goes on, too, is that a lot of the elected officials will come into those rooms and campaign. So you may see the person that may be running for, well, it's not this time, but like years past, for governor, for senator, for attorney general, for secretary of state, or what have you.
But yeah, you absolutely. Go ahead, John.
But can I just announce some of the caucuses that are going to be there that day? You're going to have like the Arab American Caucus. You're going to have the Asian Pacific Caucus, the Bangladesh Caucus, the Black Caucus, the Cannabis Caucus, the Disability Caucus, the Environmental Energy Caucus, the Faith Caucus, Grassroots Caucus, High School Democrats, Hispanic Latino Caucus, Indian Democratic Caucus, the Jewish Caucus, the Justice Caucus, the LGBT and Allies Caucus, the Michigan College Democrats, the Pakistani American Caucus, the Progressive Caucus, the Rural Caucus, the Small Business Caucus, the Senior Caucus, the Veterans Caucus, the Women's Caucus, the Young Democrats of Michigan, the American Democratic Caucus. That's just to name a few. That all helps to make up part of the Michigan Democratic Party.
Yeah, and then a part of that is that folks will actually come down and talk to elected officials, but also prospective people who want to run. That's who you find out who's going to run for state rep or Congress in 2 years. A lot of those guys come down and test the waters right then to see where they're at. They could see if they can win or gain support there. But also it's a great time for us as constituents to come down and say, "Hey, get in line." hey. I don't care what I don't care what the media pundits say. You lost because of this. They don't tell you that 8 million people that showed up in 2020 did not show up in 2024. Why is that? They didn't vote, or they cast them on themselves to vote.
And see, that's the thing, because the first hour and a half, you may have about, as Joe was mentioning, all those different caucuses that are the first hour and a half. And then the second hour and a half, which is like from 10:30 up until 12 o'clock, that's when they have the remainder of those caucuses that you named off. And you'll see a lot of people that may be aspiring to become elected officials going to those caucus rooms and saying, "Hi, my name is such and such, and I'm running for whatever the case may be." Or like you said, Norman, they may be testing the waters too, just to go and get their name branded into the minds of a lot of potential voters.
The other thing they do is that, like we say in the military, they do the recon. On those days, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Joseph Person. I'm the chair of the Oakland County Democratic Black Caucus, as well as the chair of the Southfield Lathrop Village Democratic Club. They come and test the waters, but more importantly, they want to see who the players are in the room so that they can call you, get your card, get the information. And here's the thing. The litmus test for me, whether it be you, Norman, whether it be Darwin, anybody running for office, the first question I ask you, because it's about my constituency is African American, black folk.
Right.
Okay, period. What have you done for black people? What have you done? For example, I remember when the county executive were running, that was Dave Coulter, and that was Andy Meisner. I asked Andy Meisner one question that I know that people got upset with me about. I could care less. I asked the real question. How many black folk have you promoted while you were the treasurer of Oakland County? One lady, and he didn't promote her. She was a civil servant, and she got promoted anyway. So if you don't have people that look like me there, then we're not at the table. I keep telling folks when they tell us that people can represent us, well, people represent us that brought us over here on a slave ship. How did that work out for us? So I'm tired of this, somebody else can represent me, or what they tell you, Norman, as you said, we'll talk about it. I'll get back to you. There's some research on it. Let me talk to somebody else. Well, wait a minute. We've been knowing what's been going on in this country since we came over here on slave ships, and then some. The Jewish community know what's been going on since they've come over here. Everybody that's come over here, whether it's an immigrant ship or whether a slave ship, we all in the same boat together now. But everybody gets whatever they need at the expense of African Americans.
And African Americans ourselves, we have laid the groundwork to get them what they need. And so back to that point is I also asked, it's the first time I met you, I never seen you in the community.
Yes.
Why the hell are you running? That's my question. I said, okay, I've never seen you before. Why are you running? What have you done? Even with black folk, but what have you done in the community? I said, I don't know who you are. Like, I never met you. I never seen you in the car. I never seen you in a rally. I never seen you out there. I don't even know your stuff on Instagram.
That's called receipts.
Receipts. I said, I need something to somebody to vet who you are. Like, do you know who he is? No. I asked if someone from Oakland County is doing work in Oakland County and said he running for office. Two people I call. Kermit. Kermit for Oakland County. Also I call Tamika Ramsey from Oakland County. I got your number. I call Joe. Hey, Joe. Who's this? I don't know. Oh, okay. That's all I need to know because receipts matter. And people come and play that game where I'm just going to run just to be running, or you have an ulterior motive of why you're running. And at this time, too many times, when we had that trifecta, in those first 100 days when they got all this stuff done, all the big folks got a lot of stuff done. When what the people voted for dragged out for a year, dragged out 2 years, and then
3. Here we are here today.
Here we are here today. Black women maternity, it has not gotten passed.
Right.
Where the same black women helped at over 96% helped to get that trifecta in.
Well, see, and that's the thing, because see, that day on the 22nd is really going to be an important day, because just like we're both saying, you've got the caucus meetings, the beginning of the morning, the afternoon are the district chairs.
Right.
So you've got the three, in terms of you've got districts that are represented pretty much like the 2 in Detroit, the 12th and the 13th district.
Right.
But then you've got the other 11 districts around the state that are also going to have elections for their chairs, for their congressional districts. So as everybody knows, you've got the 13th that's represented in terms, say, by congressional leader Rashida Tlaib. and then you've got the 12th district. I'm sorry, the 12th district, Rashida
Khalid.
Khalid, the 13th represented in terms of say by Sharif Anadar.
Yeah.
So now it's looking at the 6th represented by Debbie Dingle and so on and so forth. But the main thing is that that's what will be done usually the first part of the afternoon.
Right.
Yes.
And then after that,
2 o'clock is the big time.
that's when everybody's going to get an opportunity that are vetted.
Yep.
You know, you have your little lanyard, or you have your wristband, and you get an opportunity to go and vote for the Michigan Democratic Party chair.
Right. And that's where we need vetting, we need clarity, but also we need a plan. And no, it's not even just a plan. You implement the plan with that we already have is stored for us. You implement the 83 county plan, have everyone supposed to run in 83 counties, like you said. In 83 counties, those people on the ground are getting funded to get through to get more people out to vote for your causes. That's what needs to happen. I think too many times, Joe, we wait for them to give us a plan. No, this time at this election, and I can say this confidently, progressives, folks from all the communities that were Democratic and progressively persuasive, were not happy how this thing was ran last year. Not happy.
No.
And it seems like those who ran it last year are trying to figure out to be in shape to run again. Absolutely not. And I think that this is something where the people who have worked together, who know these organizations, know these communities, will come together, figure out a plan. If we're going to do the 83 county, cool, fund and support it. We had to tell them, this is what we're doing in Michigan.
You know, the problem I have with this is this. Norman, you have receipts. I have receipts. Darwin have receipts. There are a lot of us that are on the ground that have the receipts. But yet they don't want to come and deal with us or put any money into what we want to get done. I challenge anybody out there, if you were willing to put some money in the Southfield or Oakland County, and you direct the money, and I'm gonna say it because everybody's so scared to say, well, I tell you to put the money.
Right.
Not what some other folks tell you. I'm on the ground. I'm doing the real work. So I know who's doing what, who's not working. I'm tired of photo ops. I'm tired of us, let's go and give a meal away to somebody for this one day so that we can feel good and say, well, I was there.
Mm-hmm.
But can we put a breakfast program to give to our kids or to the people or to the homeless at least 3, 4, 5 times a week or a month or 5 different times a year?
Mm-hmm.
Can we set up the voters registration drive that's going to happen in Southfield or Oakland County? We know these are the dates that we're going to do this 4 times a year. Come to this place. Give me the money so that I can register these folks. Give me the money so that I can get people prepared for the next election. The other thing is we need an academy to train you how to run for office, how to raise money, how to register. Do you know the last election, 2 election cycle, not this one just passed in November, but the cycle before, all of the people, and I won't say no names, that got their petitions, the signatures to get on the ballot, I went and pulled them all. Do you know that where I'm at, only 2 people out of the 11 people that were running were actually qualified to be on the ballot? That I chose not. It was unreal, and that's something that we should be challenging all of these folks. So that means we need to go in and teach people just how to fill out a petition correctly, how to sign it, how at the bottom of it, at the bottom signature, it says, sign this petition if you're not from that county. If I'm from Oakland County, I can just sign at the top because I'm from Oakland County. You only sign, like if you came up, you live in Wayne, and you came to Oakland County and got petitions, signature signed, then you sign at the bottom because, if you're not from the state, you're not from that county, you're from out of state, then you sign your name in the county that you're from.
Right.
It's unreal that the miseducation, no education or uneducation that people don't have about the political process. I'm talking about the basics of an election, ladies and gentlemen, the basic is, in order to run for office, you got to get signatures and get your name on the ballot.
Absolutely.
How many great people, or so we thought they were great people, didn't make the ballot because they didn't get the signatures?
And sometimes with the signatures, you start, and that's why we say 2 to 3 years early when you're running for office. Because if you need 1,000 signatures, guess what? I have a year and a half to do it myself if I'm running. That's the perfect time for me to collect signatures because I'm talking to people about why am I running. I'm a face-to-face person saying, hey, this is why I'm running. This is what I'm doing. What's going on. Support me for elected office. That's what I want for you. You do that. You do that you could get 10 people sheets a day. You do it so many hours, you could get 1,000 verified signatures right then and there. And even then, you have contractors who could do that for you. I get it. But it should not be something where it's hard to collect signatures, or we have this many people that don't do the signature work.
Well, you need to have a reputable company.
Absolutely.
That gets your signatures for you. But here's the
When you say reputable, explain what you mean when you say reputable.
Okay. When I say reputable, I mean a company that has a track record of getting signatures for people and haven't had any problems.
Absolutely.
You have some companies out here, for example, let's just go back to the fiasco that happened with the governors when they just ran and a lot of folks got thrown off the ballot.
Yep.
Well, a lot of those folks got thrown off the ballot is because the people that they used, they're making money. In some cases, people are getting anywhere from $7, $10, $12, $15 a signature.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that temptation, let me just write some names down and let me just send this in. And what people don't fail to realize, ladies and gentlemen, unless I challenge, if Norman and Darwin run for office against me, if I don't challenge them or somebody doesn't challenge them, the political process is the canvassing, they're just going to accept those signatures. If I come in and challenge y'all, then that's when they're going to go through. So you always need to have somebody that's going to challenge you because, case in point, President Obama, most people don't know that he became a state senator is because he went in and challenged everybody that he ran against and knocked them all off the ballot. Challenge, folks, that's part of the political process. You got to get the signatures on. And the other thing, Norman, like you said, if I'm running for office, and I'm just saying, U.S. Congressman, you need 2,000 signatures. Okay, so you want to go get 4,000, so forth and so on. But I'm going to get those 2,000 signatures personally myself. Right. Let me tell you why you do that. As you said, Norman, that's people that you'll meet. That's a base.
Absolutely.
If you get 5 people out of every 500 signatures that you get, those 20 people are going to help you win an election. That's 20 people that you got that's working the polls in Southfield. Okay, we got 32 precincts that everybody's votes in, but there's 2 precincts per polling place. All you got to do in Southfield is win the Big Ten. So if you take those 20 people that you've got and divide them up and put them at those 10 precincts and work in those 10 precincts, you win. That's 20 precincts out of the 32 precincts. People don't do the math, and that's why you get reputable companies that understand the dynamics and the analytical process of getting signatures, what precincts to go into, where to come and advertise, talk to the people. We have about 200 associations in Southfield, in Oakland County, more than that actually, 200 associations. Mm-hmm. There's only 65 of them. If you talk to that 65, it's a wrap.
Right.
Now, there's a question about with signatures, because some people are thinking that they could get multiple signatures from the same person. So, like, let's say, for example, Joe, if you were out collecting signatures, Norman, if you were out collecting signatures, if you got my signature on your sheet, but I also put my signature on your sheet, which signature is the valid one?
Whoever gets their signatures turned in first.
First to verify.
Because I want to get that across, because there's a lot of people that have that mistaken.
Whoever gets first verified, as he says, you get to the canvassing up in Lansing. If it's a judge, I'm using judges. The judges, you get it to Lansing, they verify it, they vouch for it. whose ever signatures gets in first. But here's the thing about that. Remember I said,
Yeah.
if there's not a challenge, they're not going in challenging. I mean, the canvassers are not going in. So the signatures that Norman, that you got, that signed your petition, signed my petition, or signed yours, Darwin, it doesn't matter. Because unless Darwin challenges Norman, or I challenge Darwin, or y'all challenge me, it doesn't happen.
Right.
So, in the few minutes we got left before we take our next break, so the main thing is it's better to go after these signatures early,
Absolutely.
rather than wait till the last minute.
Yes.
Because I've seen people at the conventions getting signatures, and whereas other people have gotten signatures well before the convention. Because I've seen people at either end of Huntington Place, back when it was Cobo Hall, standing at the door with somebody with petition sheets trying to go and get signatures there. But it's like they're feeling like because you got a captive audience, those hundreds or thousands of people that are at the convention, they can just have somebody at the door just collecting signatures, like that.
That's a good idea. I'm okay with that. Me personally, all of the signatures I get them. I wait till an election, because the people that are coming out, and you get them coming out
Yep.
of the election, you know that they're qualified electors because they're registered. You know they're registered
just
because
voted.
they just
Just
voted.
voted.
They
Just
just
voted.
voted.
And
Right.
here's the thing about people. If you work that polling, like my poll, I'm a precinct delegate at precinct 29 in Southfield. The Democrats and the Republicans sign my petition or vote for me because I work that poll. They know I'm going to get them the information. I don't care if it's a Republican. They ask me about what Republicans do. Here's the information. If it's a Democrat, here's the information. I had a Republican say, well, Mr. Person, I'm going to vote for you because you're going to make sure I at least get the information. Whether I agree with your ideology, I'm going to vote for you because as a precinct delegate, you're going to do the work. That's what people don't understand about the precinct delegates. Get your signatures as a precinct delegate right there at the polling place on election day. We have 2,200 people that are in precinct 29. I've met 1,900 of them. I'm talking about up close and personal. I've knocked on the door, I've talked to them, or when they've come in to that precinct, they've met me. To the point where 2 years ago, I wasn't at the polling place during the primary. Do you know the state representatives, my city council, everybody was calling me, Joe, are you okay? Is something wrong? Had a health issue, folks. I got to take care of me. I can't do this if I'm not healthy, you know.
Right.
But that's where you get the signatures. If you work the polls, people. If you go to the convention, that's great. But here's the thing, what happens at the convention. And this is the powers that be, and this is everybody. This is just politics.
Yeah.
I'm telling my people, you better not sign for Norman. You're supposed to be signing for Joe Person. You're going to tell your folks, Darwin Griffin, not to sign for Norman or Joe. So it's like, it's a little contention there.
It's hard at the
It's
convention.
harder, but when you go to the polling place, they don't know you there. In Southfield, for example, the city council, you need 200 signatures. 200 signatures to run for city council or the mayor. You're going to listen, if you come there at 7 o'clock on election day morning, 7 a.m. when the polls open up, by 12, 1 o'clock, you got 200 signatures, because everybody's going to sign a petition. Because remember, you're not saying that you're voting for this person. What you're doing is helping that person get their name on the ballot.
On the ballot.
That's it.
And that's it. And there's those simple things that you could do to meet people where they are, face to face. No matter what you say, face to face is there. You have to invest in face to face.
But and that's the thing, because we've got probably a minute left before we take our break. But that's one of the key things, is that a lot of people go to the shopping malls, go to the grocery stores, go to the department stores and that. But the one thing too, and I caution everybody, and I know both of you know this too, you need to get permission from the people at the store, at the location where you're going to get that. Because I've seen people that have been out at like some of the department stores and have been run off the lot because they were told they could not solicit people when they were coming into out of the store or going into the store to try and get signatures. But let's go
That's
back to
not
this.
true.
Let's go back to
I'ma
that
tell you what
when
the
we come
law
back.
is.
Hold on. We're going to hold on to that.
Okay.
We'll come back to that when we come back. I'm with Joe Person, Norman Clement. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin. You're watching Truth to Power, and we'll be right back.
Muscles, joints, or feet tired, achy, or distressed? Tried everything? Ringmaster Rubbing Oil is a vintage topical pain reliever, trusted for over 70 years, with a rich formula for the treatment of stubborn aches and pains. Packaged in a glass bottle for purity, our liquid can also be used in warm water for foot soaks and compresses. A little goes a long way. Try our time-tested formula, available in several sizes.
Make a donation to WHBR-TV and receive 2 2-ounce bottles of Ringmaster Rubbing Oil for $25. Call 313-868-6612.
Tune in to the I Love the Hustle show, Saturday afternoons at 12 p.m., followed by Mr. Smooth's Ballroom and Steppers Express Dance Show on WHPR 15.2 Detroit, Apple TV, Roku, and many streaming platforms. See you Saturday.
All media platforms are engaged.
Copy.
Get ready to launch your show or product.
Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that.
Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Claudine Jackson thought she had it all until she was faced with the challenges of raising an autistic child. Inspired by autism is her brutally honest journey, filled with heartbreak and triumph. Get your copy and find the support you deserve today by visiting www.claudinejackson.tv.
WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
And welcome back to Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, along with my special guest today, Mr. Joe Person, Mr. Norman Clement. Norman, I'd be remiss if I didn't, Joe mentioned in terms of say the things that he does as far as saying Oakland County. Talk about you. Talk about what you do.
So what we did was at the time, we worked after school programming with youth development, and we were able to get some youth to do voter registration amongst their peers. So we did the high school games. We did the Little League games where Little League, not the kids go sign up, but the parents. When you go to a Little League game, and there's a program called Sound Mind, Sound Body on the east side, have organized the youth team from the Cubs to the East Side Raiders, and all those teams come there for a jamboree. There are thousands of people there. They're selling, they're cooking food, everything. We set up right there and do voter registration right then and there. We also do voter outreach and education. You meet people where they are. And we go to the places where people are scared to go to. And so we go to those after-school programs in the hood. We go to those care centers over there. We go to the halfway houses there. Folks are waiting to get to go home and stuff like that. So we go there, meet them, and sign register them right there.
And tell the name of your organization.
So the organization is Change Initiative Action Fund. I'm also president of that, but also part of Detroit Change Initiative. That's a 501c3.
And if somebody wanted to get more information, they can go on the website or they can call the number?
Yep, they can definitely go on the website. Website is inform@dcimovement.org, or they could go on to inform at theciaf.org. That is our C4 right there for Change Leadership Action Fund.
And see, one thing that I want to do too is that I know this has been a real, interesting beginning of the year. We talked earlier about the fact that President Jimmy Carter had made his transition at 100 years of age.
Right.
And then also I just want to, another person that's been a co-host on the show, she's no stranger, especially here in the Highland Park area, Alexis Ramsey lost her grandmother.
Sorry.
So I believe she was 104 years of age. So Ken Whitaker, Shanae Whitaker, and there were a lot of people that were there for the homegoing service, for her. And then also our own Joe Person recently lost his sister. So Joe, you want to tell the dynamics about your sister and what she did in the community?
Well, my sister is born and raised in Washington, D.C. Her greatest claim to fame is that my sister motivated me.
What's her name?
First of all, her name was Sharon Dawkins, okay? And she lived in Washington, D.C., born and raised. The thing about my sister, she was into sports. But more importantly, she motivated. She was my biggest cheerleader. There wasn't nothing that she, didn't root me on about. She didn't just back me. If I had a bad day in the military, when I used to come home, I would talk to her and she would like, bruh, don't worry about it. Y'all gonna win the war. Y'all gonna win, whatever it is that you're doing. But the most important thing that she did, she was a good mother. She was an excellent mother. She had 5 kids, and she did her best to raise them. She was just incredible in terms of an individual. And the thing about it is that while she was doing those things, she kept pushing everybody to be better than what they were. And she says, you're certainly not what people are saying you are, but you're not as bad as you really think you are either. So I'm like, okay. I said, sis, I think you mean I'm not as good as I think I am, but I'm certainly not as bad as what people are saying. She was saying, okay, bro, that's it. She said, but get out there and work. And part of this spirit that I have, I get pushed because on all of the holidays, these days coming up, if my sister were here, I would be calling her. She would get on the computer and look you guys up so she could be, looking at her brother. And she would tell me, brother, you didn't say this. You did this. You shouldn't have talked over Norman. You should have let Darwin get it, these types of things. You love your family. Right. And like I said, politically, she, pushed me, says, get involved. And back to a comment that I was making before when you were saying about where you could get the signatures and different things. At grocery stores, you can go to the grocery stores on the lot, such as Kroger's, the different markets, Myers, and them. You can get the signatures out in the parking lot. You just can't talk to people as they're going in the store and as they're coming right out, because the name of the game for them is to make their money. When you stop somebody and talk to them, that's something that they may forget, that one item that they were going to get. So that's money that they're losing. So that's the reason why they want you to do your solicitation, or not even solicitation. Solicitation meaning you're asking people to spend money. Right. Getting signatures is not spending money.
Well, and you mentioned too when we were on the break, what's one of the I guess you'll give one of your trade secrets in terms of say about where somebody, if they were trying to get signatures, where's the one place that you find is a real valued spot to get signatures at?
Go to White Castle, ladies and gentlemen. That's a captive audience, because whether they're in line in the drive-through or whether they're sitting in the store, they will talk to you. They want to know what you know about politics. And that's what I find out about a lot of folks, the education piece. People respect, well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm a military man, I usually wear a military cap. They will respect that first. Like, I've had people that won't talk to me right away. But if I got a military cap on, oh yeah, what you selling? You military. It's that respect that they have because I belong to something that they didn't belong to. I always tell the union guys, people be talking about, well, Joe, you didn't belong to the union. You're not a union man. I said, excuse me, I belong to the best union in the world. United States Army, the Union Army. What are you talking about? Without us, you don't get to do all of that. So, but people respect being a military guy. So when I go to White Castle and these other places, I won't tell y'all the other trade secrets because y'all will be out there getting the signatures.
And y'all be bumping heads trying to get
bumping
signatures
heads,
first.
No, I'm always getting them first because I know the system. And the other thing is, ladies and gentlemen, go in and make friends with the management. True story. One of the stores that I go and get my signatures at, the other day I was up there. It was just before Christmas. I was in the store and I shopped there. The owner came up and said, "Hey, Mr. Person, how you doing? Here's a $50 gift card to Target." He said, "Because you do things here, but you come out and you work the community, but you respect us." And they've had times where they didn't want people, then they said, "Joe, today is not this week. Leave and come back in a month." Or whatever. You respect them, they respect you. And I thought that was nice that the owner of that business was standing out giving gift cards to the people in the community. And he gave them to the people that worked in the community. And I'm like, wow.
And Joe, you talked about the cleaning house. We talked about cleaning house.
Oh, we did.
But which is key point you just said. This is a cleaning house mechanism of just one, building relationships in the community. You cannot come in from outside, cannot come in 12 months or 2 years or a year or whatever time. If we don't know you, I can't. Shoot, I don't know who you are. I know Joe Person. I know DCI. I know
about carpetbaggers.
We talk about carpetbaggers because at the end of the day, it's about respecting the relationship of people who are brought in that community. I could go to places where Joe can't go. Joe could go to places where I can't go. And the thing about it is that you could tell all your secrets you want to. And I've told people all the time, yeah, you can go there if you want to. They may not let you in. A lot of times, hey, man, I don't know how you get signatures over there, voter registration, and they didn't let me in because, they don't know you. Because you're getting their information, and they don't see you every single day when it's not election year. They don't see you doing the work every day. They don't see you, hey, we're doing the meal giveaway here. We're doing toy giveaway. Hey, we got a hot lunch going on. I got lunch for the community today. Y'all get some pizzas or whatever. And
there's an issue
going on.
Come to this town hall.
Right.
They want to see you.
They want to see you. And so that goes back to the exclusion of trust. There's a little back to trust, but the exclusion of partners or organizations that are doing that every single day, but you're not inviting them to the process because of ego. That's what we got to destroy and get rid of.
Well,
go from there.
The other piece to that too is not only ego. Norman, when I met you and I watched you for a minute, I said, okay. Some people said, well, Joe, don't mess with Norman. I'm like, okay, let me see what Norman's doing. Then I went back, I said, oh, I know why you don't mess with Norman, because Norman's actually doing something, and you ain't doing nothing. You see, the only people that talk about you, Norman, are the people that aren't doing anything. Mm-hmm. You got receipts. Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman sitting here next to me, awesome. That's all I'm going to say. Awesome. He does the work. So if I'm coming to Detroit, I'm going to pick up the phone, talk to him, Darwin, because they know the area. They got receipts. You do the work. People don't, they're threatened by you. That's why I'm trying to sit here and say to myself, why are you not running for some of these people? Why we talking about the issue of cleaning house?
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that job of running the Michigan Democratic Party is almost $150,000, $200,000, a year. So that's big money. Okay, let's go there.
Right.
We need to clean house and put quality people in, not give somebody a job because they lost an election or they didn't win the last time around, or that's my anointed one that I get along. What I am tired of in the Democratic Party, since we're here now, let's go here. I'm tired of people picking people for me. I'm tired of that. The individuals that are running for office, we have issues. Let's go into the segue since we're talking about that. The other gentleman's name is Mark Ludwig. He's the chair of the Rural Caucus. Then you have Curtis Hertel, who just lost in what district was that?
Alyssa Slotkin's old district.
Right, Alyssa Slotkin's old district. And then you have Al B.J. Williams, who's a political activist, who lost elections to Sri Thanadar when he ran against him, when he's running for state representative. Now, these are the individuals that are running. One is the individual that the powers that be want, or who they chose. The other one is an activist. The other one, Mark Ludwig, is running because he's seeing some things that's wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to make a decision and have some quality people that are running. It can't be you come and pick this person for me. What has he done? I've gotten phone calls from all of them. One of those individuals came up and spoke to me, and my wife is sitting right there. He speaks to me, but then chose not to speak to her. My wife told him, says, you don't understand. While my husband may be the head, I'm the neck. If I tell him not to do anything, it's over with. It's a wrap. But more importantly, that showed the respect that this individual had for everybody in the room. Norman, Darwin, myself, when we go into the room, I've noticed when I first met him, or Darwin both, they came over and just spoke. They didn't know who I was. How you doing? I'm Norman so-and-so. I'm Darwin so-and-so. When I introduce, I'm Joe Person. I'm so-and-so. You introduce yourself. A lot of these folks don't do that. Mm-hmm. So when they come into the room, they think that you're supposed to run over to them because you see other people running to them. I sit there and I used to tell my wife or tell the other people, I said, now watch. This is what that person's going to do. They're going to go to these little cliques. We have so many cliques in the Michigan Democratic Party that is doing us a disservice, and that is the reason why we're all over the place. Ladies and gentlemen, we need some good quality Democrats that are going to come and speak to me, speak to you, know all of the social justice organizations, know all of the political organizations, know all of the TV hosts that if you're going to get information out, we need to know who you are. We need to know who you are.
And also, you preaching, because the thing about that is this. You're not the only one that said that too. We're talking about that. I've heard progressives from the UP. I've heard folks from Traverse City. I've been on many organizations, phone calls, hours of people venting what happened after this election. And this is where people are saying, you know what, I'm sick and tired of the same old thing. And I think that the listening sessions or the assessment is the one that teed everybody off. We all know what happened.
You didn't support this black woman.
You didn't. Because you can't tell me how not 8 states split their ticket. And I'm still trying to figure out North Carolina. And I'm still having a hard time with North Carolina. But
explain to the people about North Carolina.
So North Carolina election, all the Democrats won their seat but the presidency. Every Democrat, from the governor, the lieutenant governor, all the way delegate, whatever, every Democrat won except for the top of the ticket. And so that tells me there was a level of effort in North Carolina, and also with the reproductive freedom bill they had there, effort in North Carolina, a level of effort in Arizona, Nevada, that the state senators won, or the governors won their race, and the top of the ticket didn't. And so that's a lot of detail that tells me that that's more than just about eggs and bread, the price of bread and eggs and stuff like that. That's more than not speaking to the economic issues or not going on Joe Rogan. That was an effort there. And so, and even though it was 100-something days that she did ran, there was an effort there. But now let me talk about the flip side and look at the Republican Party side. Republican Party invested in technology, YouTube, and the manosphere,
and canvassing.
A canvassing the type of way where they went into those selected individuals that look like me and you. I'm going to put you on the podcast. I'm going to put you on these screens. I'm going to put you on Joe Rogan, talk about investments and all this, what's going on, pin black men and black women together. I'm going to get those people to come in those clickbaits because they knew people were not watching the news. People were not going to traditional spaces. They don't watch commercials anymore. And they spoke to those who were raw or outside the spectrosphere. And they did creative advertising where that's where they met the people are. They knew we were going there because everybody was going to YouTube because during COVID. They knew that. And when it was time for us to tell our party in 2023, hey, you have a problem with black men, you need to do this. Yeah, we did well reproductive freedom. That's because of the COVID money. We were on the ground doing outreach, and we stayed on the ground. But in 2023, hey, we got to fix this. We got to fix this for to fix this. When I met Joe at that forum with the Washington Post, that was like maybe the 20th or 20th meeting we had with black men.
Exactly.
On the beginning of the 24.
Right.
This problem was known in January of 23. And so for that fact alone, you didn't listen to us then. Now you're coming back and say, well, we may listen to you now. We're doing the listening session. After I said, we don't need no listening session.
We need money on the ground and boots.
Everybody said that. I wasn't at that meeting, but I know what was said at that meeting. There wasn't no listening session.
Right.
But the fact that you have a listening session and the fact that you selected people already, everybody, that's what I'm talking about black folks, I'm talking about everybody is upset about what's happening going on. Yeah. And everybody wants to be a part of that convention and say, hey, whoa. Stop. Who you talking to? Talk to me like an adult, and we're not going for the riff and raff from going on. We want this, and we need party leadership. We also need transparency from the party on down. What are we doing? Because guess what, Joe? I don't even know if I worked the Michigan Democratic app on my phone because I'm still getting stuff from last year. No updates on nothing. And so that type of stuff is irritating people and getting upset about.
Well, something you said real quick, Norman, Joe, in terms of my thing is about transparency, but also it's about reaching out to the people.
Yes.
Norman, you and I were at that Washtenaw County Dems forum that they did for the people that were running for Michigan Democratic Party chair. And the thing is that I came in the room and I intentionally went to the back, went to the corner, and trying to be as, not inconspicuous as I could. Now, I know it was hard for me to be inconspicuous because here I am in that room with a lot of people that didn't look like me in that room. But I go to the back, sit in the corner, and only one out of those three, and they all saw me, one out of the three candidates that's running for the Michigan Democratic Party chair came back and spoke to me. And I know all three of them. Matter of fact, I know one of them extremely well. But the bottom line, only one came back and spoke to me. And I had to really go up there and tell them both. The other two that didn't, that lost some brownie points, as people want to say it, with me, because they did not come back there, because you're trying to win my support. You're trying to garner my support. I shouldn't have to, like you were saying, Joe, like Norman, you were saying, I don't have to chase after you. I don't get excited like that. I'm not running trying to go and pull at your coattail and be a groupie or be one of those people that's like, oh, wow, I can't wait to sit up here and go and say hi or get my face noticed by that person. I've been in the rooms with Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama. I've been in the rooms with them.
Yeah.
And it's like they do the same as what we do. They put their, they dress the same way, pretty much like, how we do, one leg at a time if they're putting a pair of pants on and that kind of thing. But the thing is, it's just like, my thing is this. It's like the opportunity to meet somebody like your sister. And I want to kind of laugh and say this too, because I'm thinking like, your wife's name is Sharon. Your sister's name is Sharon. How did you kind of go and look at when you were saying to one Sharon versus the other Sharon? How did you designate how you went and got to one versus the other?
My sister tells me this.
And I can tell this a good story because I can see the smile popping up on your face.
My sister,
and it's hard to get Joe Person to smile.
Yeah, my sister said, you love me so much, you made sure you're going to be reminded by me, so you married a Sharon. So I'm like, okay. But like you said, at the end of the day, what do we do? What do we do, folks? We have individuals, like you say, you were there and they don't work the room. I was in a room with one of the candidates, and I got in this, but I said, here's good and welfare. Ladies and gentlemen, at every Democratic caucus, club, local club, county, district, when we're at the end of the meeting, the chair steps to the mic and says, is there anybody for good and welfare? That simply means you can come advertise if your club is having a meeting, if there's a get out the vote program, if you have an election or any kind of information. It's basically to get information out to the people. This candidate that was running for the MDP chair did not go up there and speak. And I got with him. I said, excuse me, sir, why would you not take this opportunity to speak to the people? So I understand what you're saying. So my question is, are you negotiating? Because see, ladies and gentlemen, here's the other piece to this that we don't talk about. Everybody that's running for office, it's a lot of money to be spread around for these elections coming up. The person that's running the Michigan Democratic Party is going to be one of the people that is delegating money out to all of the communities in the state of Michigan. So therefore, that person has to be a person that understands the process. We can't have people that don't understand the process, that just want to be there in name only.
Right.
We got work we got to do.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key issues of somebody's come in, step in on day one, put the plan together that meets everyone's needs and do the work. And someone also in that seat that could push back the funders and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing, and we're going to stick to the road we're going to do, and we're going to see it to the end. Because a lot of times they want quick results. No. This is not a quick thing because you didn't do nothing for a long time.
That's why we got the results we
got now.
Right.
And so now you had to build that trust back up. And I'm telling you, though, the organizers on the ground, I can speak for a lot of us that say they are this election broke this. They didn't break us, but this election, we saw something that, that we hoped was at the back of our mind, but it came true. And we're looking to say, okay, that trust is no longer there. Like I said, there's black women organizations that said, they're saying, hey, you know what? Y'all get
the 92%.
The 92% say, y'all know what? Y'all get your house together before we step back in. Because there's work to be done on that other side of those that 23% and that 40% that voted for Kamala. Hey, y'all need to start talking to your community members. Stop jumping into black. We straight. We fine. We don't need extra organizations coming to our community, talking to our people. We got that. We need you to go to your community and got that, because guess what? It's easier to come on because we already did the work for you.
Well, let me ask you this question. Here's the other part that we don't do, and I always do this. All right, 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris in the state of Michigan. 77% of black men voted for Kamala Harris. Now, if you do the math, that's 82% of the black community that voted for Kamala Harris. We are the number one and number two constituency in the Democratic Party across the country. So my question is, why do we continue to allow them to paint a picture that only the black women are doing it, are doing anything? We need to tell them, wait a minute, down in Alabama when Doug Jones ran, 98% of black women voted for him, 94% of black men. So the number is 96% of the African American or the black community voted for them. Stop allowing ourselves to allow even the Democrats to tell us how we voted.
Right.
Because the issue, like in Oakland County, I went and did the math in 2016, 2018. Do you know 250,000 white folk did not vote in Oakland County?
Well, it's sad that every time we get to a real important statistic, we got to take a break. We got to take a break. But we can come back to that for a quick minute. You're watching Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, with my special guest today, Mr. Norman Clement, Joe Person. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
Florine Jackson thought she had it all until she was faced with the challenges of raising an autistic child. Inspired by autism is her brutally honest journey filled with heartbreak and triumph. Get your copy and find the support you deserve today by visiting www.florinejackson.tv.
Muscles, joints, or feet tired, achy, or distressed? Tried everything? Ringmaster Rubbing Oil is a vintage topical pain reliever, trusted for over 70 years, with a rich formula for the treatment of stubborn aches and pains. Packaged in a glass bottle for purity, our liquid can also be used in warm water for foot soaks and compresses. A little goes a long way. Try our time-tested formula, available in several sizes.
Make a donation to WHBR-TV and receive 2 2-ounce bottles of Ringmaster Rubbing Oil for $25. Call 313-868-6612.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
Very pleased to have you join us today on Truth to Power, and my special guests today are Mr. Norman Clement, Mr. Joe Person. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin. So, Joe, I know you were making a point just before we took a commercial break, so I'll let you finish making your point real quick.
In Oakland County in 2018, there was 250,000 people that were white that did not vote in that election. There was 44,000 black folk that did not vote in that election. When you got to 2020, there was 41,000 black folk didn't vote, but there was still 258,000 of white folk didn't vote. I mean, and the numbers keep going up. So my question is, you don't have a black problem in Oakland County.
Right.
But yet when people come in, the outsiders, the carpetbaggers that come in and say, well, we got to get y'all organized to vote. Well, we're voting. You need to go in and get the other people that don't look like me and you, Norman or Darwin, to go and vote. That's what's happening. But they know that the black vote, even though, like I said, in the state of Michigan, was it 77% of black men that voted for Kamala and 92% that voted for Kamala, black women, that's 82%
right.
of the vote for Kamala Harris, they're black people. Well, when you go look at who else voted, what was it, 40%?
40%.
40%. That's the same like when Obama ran in 2008. 85% of black America voted for him. 44% of white America voted for him. In 2012, it was 95% of black people voted for him and 41% of white folk that voted for him. See, that's what I'm telling you, folks. When a black person wins, trust me, you look at the numbers of what we black people do, because I've never seen a black person win in America. I could be wrong. I challenge y'all out there in TV land. Call me. Call me out. Name a black person that's ever won a seat that black people didn't put him in. Name one. See,
you can't do it.
Can't do it. Exactly.
Can't do it.
We vote for ours just like everybody else votes for them. If you look at the Jewish community, I don't care if it's a Democrat, Republican, Independent. The Jewish community vote Jewish first, and then they branch out to others. We got to start doing some of the same things. And folks, this is where people try to tell me, well, you don't vote for him just because he's black. That's what everybody else does, because he's Jewish, because he's this, because he's that, because he's LGBT. How many people have come into y'all and said, when they campaign, for example, they'll come in and say, okay, I want the endorsement of the Southfield Lathrop Village Democratic Club or the Oakland County Democratic Black Caucus. I'm openly gay. That's, with the LGBT members come in and openly say that to me. You know what my answer to them usually is? I'm openly straight. Your point is, I'm not voting for you because who you love or who you sleep with. I'm voting for you because of your policies and procedures that the policies you're going to bring here that are going to benefit me.
And also, what have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
What have you done?
Well, see, and it really boils down to, Joe, Norman, it boils down to, like you're both saying, what can you do for all of us?
Right.
Not just for you or
Right.
just for a selected few, but for everybody that you're trying to, to seek the support from.
Yeah.
But, we could probably go on and on
Yeah.
with
Yes.
this conversation.
Yeah.
Time goes fast when you're having fun.
Yes,
This was,
sir.
the kind of conversation. That's why I bring the two of you on board. But we know we got a football team here in the city of Detroit.
I told y'all.
That is generating a whole lot of buzz.
Excitement.
We just had a game recently, this past Sunday night, that generated a whole lot of comments, and I think they blew up social media with all the people that had the memes and
I tried
the
to tell
fact
y'all.
that here you had division champs and 15-2 and everybody. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't know the record
Right.
of the Detroit Lions unless they've been living somewhere in who knows where. But the bottom line, anybody here in this great state of Michigan knows the Lions. And it's so funny because male, female, black, white, yellow, whatever complexion, everybody was talking Detroit Lions Sunday night.
Yes.
Yeah, I told you that the Lions are the only team in the NFL. In the NFL is 64 deep. When we also said last week, I said, hey, the biggest win I thought was more important win when they beat San Francisco. When you're down to your fourth and fifth string, guys off the street coming in, and you won that game. And that was the character, because in the locker room, that game was a good game. He talked, but there was no celebrating. They still had work to do. Other side, Minnesota, they had my man up on his shoulder celebrating. I said, man, y'all ain't win nothing. The game is next week. And when the Lions came out, you added one player back to the lineup as Anzalone. And Anzalone normally was sitting a caller, calls everybody the plays, but guess what? He came back in and kept a young linebacker calling the plays, but he also helped out putting people in the right positions. That one player alone put your defense in great situations, and you never gave up a touchdown.
They did. Hang on one second. We got a call. Let me get this call real quick. Caller, you're on the line with Joe Person, Norman Clement. I'm Darwin Griffin on your Took the Power show.
That's me?
Yes, caller, can you hear us?
Yes. This is Mukuraba. I'll introduce myself to you because you might not really know me, because most of my work was done behind the scenes more so than in the public. I found it easier to talk with core people who had the power to make the change, like one-on-one. It was like lobbying. Lobbying skill I learned while I was working with Michigan Bell and supporting the union there. And that was 1971. Yeah, I wrote you some notes, and I thought I'd ask you if you had read my notes, because I introduced myself there, because I'm interested in doing some more political type work. Most of the time, I haven't worked in the public eye, only behind the scenes, changing the lunches in the school so they wouldn't just have hamburgers and pizzas, so that they would have celery and apples and orange juice, things like that. And getting Black history into Detroit public schools while working on the Parents Advisory Committee. And I worked as an area representative for 13 years.
Give your name again.
Mukaraba.
Okay.
I'm interested in running for an office to support our people, but I haven't never really thought I had the money or the know-how to collect signatures and all such as that. So what I did was I did things behind the scenes, like write letters to the council to convince them to, while Joanne Watson was there and Kwame was there, Kwame Yada. So,
Kwame Kenyatta and Kwame Kilpatrick, the mayor.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't know him personally. I worked at the school with the UNIA to get scholarships for the children to go to college.
Okay.
So I worked at recreation department, and I had the Kibalon Village participating in a workshop. They got it was for Double Dutch. See, I was working at recreation then, and that was for scholarships to go to college. Then Becca Rashid was at Wayne County Community College, and we worked to get children able to take college classes while they were still in high school over there. And we pushed for homeschooling. And I was pushing for homeschooling because our children were getting indoctrinated. And, for my Black Panther stuff, I thought of it as a brainwashing to get our children into honoring their holidays and spending our money there.
Well, let me say this to you. The thing is that, I've got two people, here with me in the studio, Norman Clement, Joe Person. Those are two individuals, as well as a lot of other people, that if you could go and follow them, and they could go and they can help you if you have aspirations to want to run for office, to follow them. Listen to their, to the strategies that they were, mentioning earlier on the air. And then also at the same time, too, these are two individuals that's here with me today, and they can either assist you or they can refer you to someone else that can be able to assist you. But I definitely want to, we got to move on with the show because we're about to wrap up. But I definitely appreciate your call today. Give your name one more time.
And R.J. Watkins invited me to this, and I'm going to follow up and get those names and following them. And I'm Mukaraba.
Please do.
Mukaraba Mazan.
And I hope that you have a very, very productive and prosperous new year, young lady.
All right. Will you be reading my notes that I sent you in the chat?
Yes, we will.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for calling in, too.
Then we're going to reach back out to her.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we could definitely reach out and refer her to some folks in that community where she's at.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely.
But but let me kind of, because I know we're about to wrap up time. This time has gone by so fast.
Right.
Norman, you were making a comment, but I'm glad that our caller was able to go and get a chance to call in. But Norman, you were mentioning in terms, say, about with the with the Lions and looking in terms of, say, at how they got Alex back. He was able to do some, play calling on the field, with the other players. So it's great to have coaches that are actually not just behind the scenes, but also in front on the field playing at the same time. Because that's what you get a lot of field generals, like you get the LeBron Jameses when they're out there playing, the Kobe Bryants and others, when they're actually on the court with, or in this case, on the field with, those players.
And then also we found a corner.
Robertson.
We found the corner.
Shutdown corner.
Shutdown corner. We found a guy that was playing slot to come over to help out with Jefferson. And then he also came over because we lost another corner, got injured 2 weeks ago. He came over, was in the slot. They had to put him out into the cover corner, one-on-one. So he does that against Jefferson. We found another lockdown corner.
But you know something that's interesting, and I'll let you bring your point up, Joe, is that it was interesting because, before the game, they had asked Jefferson, is there anybody here in the Detroit Lions organization that can cover you? And his comment to that, there's nobody in the NFL
that can cover me.
Mm-hmm. We found out he had to eat those words.
Not only
we
cover
found
him,
somebody that could cover.
Not only cover him, shut him down. I mean, the game was this. Like you say, this was a great game. Oh no, San Francisco game. No, I agree with you on that to a certain degree. I go back to the game where Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions.
Oh, the Houston game.
In the Houston game, and they did not give up on that game. They kept coming. I said, this is the team that I want to see play. And that's what they keep coming. San Francisco. And the other thing about our division, I have to give credit where credit was due. I've never, and like I say, I go back. I'm from the East Coast, Washington, D.C. I'm with the Commanders when they were the Redskins. We never had a division, even though that division, all of our teams have won the Super Bowl. This division is the first division that you had 2 teams vying the last day of the season, 14-2, and the Green Bay Packers, even though they were 10-6. I mean, they got 3 teams they're sending that either one of those could represent you in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let me throw this last quick question because we don't have much time left. But so now you saw what happened with Kansas City this past week. Mm-hmm. Kansas City lost, what was it,
39?
Yeah, they didn't play anybody.
They didn't play anybody.
And they didn't play anybody. Kelsey and Mahomes and the rest, all didn't play. So now, who's your prediction for who's going to be in the Super Bowl? Joe, I'll ask you first, then Norman, and then who you think is going to win the whole thing?
I think Kansas City's going to be there as one of them. Oh, and the other team I think is going to be Detroit. Okay. I really think Detroit got a machine. I mean, here's the thing. The gentleman that what's his name? Aiden Hutchinson. He went down, and it was like the next man up. It looks like the defense and everything is even playing even better.
Yeah, they're playing. They have, when you found a corner and you find the other pieces are coming back. The next game for the divisional, we have 3 other pieces coming back from that defense.
I said something, gentlemen, that I said when I looked at that game, and I said they're playing defense by committee.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it's boiling down to.
Right.
This is by committee. This is not a 1 person. This is not a 2 person. This is a multi-personal thing that they're playing it by committee.
But they're on the mission. They're on the mission.
Let me go back. Let me take y'all back in history because I'm older than both of y'all. Most people don't remember the undefeated Miami Dolphins of '72. They beat the Washington Redskins 14-7.
Right.
They had a no-name defense.
Yeah, they did.
This is a no-name. I don't know. I can't tell you who all of the defensive backs are. I can't tell you. Mm-hmm. I can tell you who the line is. I can tell you who the running back is. I can tell you who the quarterback is. But on the defense, I don't know.
Yeah, and in Super Bowl wise, like I said, I think who I want, we could be anybody.
Yes,
we're going to be in the Super Bowl. The only team that I don't want to see, I think will win. I don't want to see Baltimore.
Well, that could be the case. We got one more call. We got one more call. We wrap up. Hang on one second. We got one more caller. Caller, you're live with us with Norman Clement, Joe Person, myself. Did you have a comment or a question you want to ask?
Yes, I have a comment. Okay, I'm very Afrocentric, but I'm in my 60s. I have not really seen the people in the city of Detroit really doing anything that produces results. We've had promise after promise after promise.
No matter what you say, what discussions and panels you have, until you guys can produce some results that can change our society and help our children. The police department can't do it by itself. You can't do it by yourself. This is worldwide. We should not still be dealing with racism and all the poverty that we're dealing with. Even unions are failing their workers. I'm a Local 7 member, good attendance. I'm railroad put down, called on to management. We are being ostracized for what we stand up for as black people. My name is Precious D. Johnson, and I would never give up my fight. We done been in marches. We voted for people who don't even consider us. We don't even get a yes or a hello from people. We're losing too many good people, and guess what? I keep seeing all the panels and all the promises, but guess what? We got black men and black women dying every day because guess what? Our city of Detroit and public schools don't even care anymore. You got schools closed down in neighborhoods that should never been closed down. What you guys gonna do? Keep promising another 20, 30 years?
And Priscilla, that's what we're talking about. That's the energy that we would love to have. 22nd.
Guess what? I can't do it by myself.
No, we're not asking you to do it by yourself.
Desire to do it.
No, we're not doing. Trust me, we're not asking you to do it by yourself. We feel the same frustration, and I think
we're tired of hearing the same old political rhetoric.
Well, I'm saying, Priscilla, is this: I'm tired of hearing it too. But what I'm saying is that we have to put our own people and check our own people and validate them and put them in the position to be in that leadership. We're not giving no rhetoric. It's not about rhetoric. It's about, okay, here's the orders that we got to do, and we're going to follow these orders. Not
if
promises.
You're not producing results, you keep making promises. Enough is enough.
I'm not talking about promises.
Enough is enough.
I'm not talking about promises. I'm not talking about anybody running. I'm talking about not promises. I'm talking about what we have to do, orders, what we have to do.
You guys are a lot of breath and air. Guess what? We need results. I'm going to leave the city of Detroit when I retire because guess what? I've been here too long.
Well,
I don't see nothing changes. I see people in panels every day. Look at Chicago, better than Detroit. Look at the South, better than Detroit. We had a civil right. We had a riot here. We ain't even built back what we lost.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Had you thought in terms of say about possibly running for office?
I don't have to run for office. I support everybody that's running. I have a voice, and thousands of other people have a voice. But until we come together, have a collective.
So I personally have fed over.
I voted for Kamala.
Okay? Right, but my point is, this, Priscilla, what are you doing right now to change that?
I'm voicing like I'm voicing now, and guess what? Believe me.
No. I understand you've made a voice. I've voiced that too. What are you actually doing in the community? Have you
trying to stay out of the way?
No, Priscilla, you can't stay out the way. No. That's part of the problem. No, Priscilla. Let me go. Let me say this.
Let him finish.
Let me finish. Because guess what? If my organization can feed 50,000 families, I need those support on that. I need you to come help out and volunteer on that. As I say, you just can't sit there and fuss and get frustrated, mad. You have to do the work. You got to come out with us. What you talking about? You lose a job?
We losing our jobs because somebody don't like for when we stand up. It's called standards. It's called morals. It's called values.
But that means morals and values have to be in the street. That means you have to do the work in the street. I'm not waiting on the government to fix my. Wait a minute. I'm not waiting for the government, Priscilla. I'm not waiting for nobody to do something that I could do for myself.
I don't want to hear another march. I don't want to hear another forum. I don't want to hear another right to vote. Black lives matter.
I'm not talking about a right to vote. I'm talking about doing the work. I'm talking about going out and cleaning your community, your neighborhood block. Like, for instance.
Clean my community, brother. I call the city of Detroit.
I'm from the city of Detroit. I live in Detroit, too. On the east side. Priscilla.
Well, Priscilla, let me say this, Priscilla. Let me say this. Because we got to make certain that everybody doesn't talk at the same time. So I'm definitely going to tell you, too, that we got to make sure, as Norman is saying, we got to make certain that we listen to what everybody's saying, we respect what everybody's saying, because we really want to do what you're saying, because we understand the frustration that you're going through. But we got to make certain that we do stay engaged and active in the process. Thank you, Priscilla, for calling in. But I think the thing is, Norman, Joe, what she's saying is you can definitely tell the frustration.
Yeah, it's frustration. Yeah. I think we hear the frustration too. But what we cannot do is check out and then complain about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you can't check out and complain about it. The end of the day is this. If I see somebody in the community not eating, if I see something going on out here, people are starving, if I have something to do collectively, get a group together and do it, people are doing it every day. New Era Detroit, Sound Mind, Sound Body, your organization, tons of organizations out there feeding families every day. We have fed over 50,000 families alone from our organization, and many other organizations are doing the same thing. People are doing the work. It may not be highlighted, but at the same time, you can't be frustrated.
Do something instead of talking. Case in point, Murray Sheffield.
Right.
During COVID, we had problems. People needed to eat. We found out people were working, but they didn't have food. Murray Sheffield gave me a U-Haul truck and gave me, 250 meals every Wednesday and Friday from May in 2020 until December 2020,
right,
to take up in Oakland County and Pontiac and feed people. See, this is what I'm talking about. Do something. Don't talk. I'm tired of people just talking. I feel a frustration, but the question is, what are you specifically doing? We need to stop talking. We need to see you. If, like President Obama said, don't boo, go vote. And if that's not enough, go get a clipboard, go get you the signatures, and run for office.
And then also,
that's the point I'm saying. It's like here, you can do a couple of things, but it's like, hey, there's people out here that watch what happens, see what happens, but then there's people that make things happen.
You got to make things happen. And also, let's say this. Nobody's doing nothing. New Era Detroit, Force Detroit, for 2 years, helped get crime down in the city of Detroit for 2 years. Those are organizations that got money, that have people on the street, on the corners, not just checking the neighborhoods, but also checking in bad stores, got stores shut down for bad practices. Don't tell me that nobody doing nothing, because guess what? They have to put a foot forward. You can't wait to somebody. We are our own heroes. We are our own saviors. Superman. You can't. Ain't no magic wand gonna happen.
Well,
you have to go ahead and do
let me
work.
say this, Norman, Joe. Our time is up, but the thing is that that's what people did not do when it came down to the Detroit Lions. People didn't give up.
Right.
Look at what Brad Holmes came in and did.
Oh my God.
Look in terms of at the dynamics that he's done when it comes down to the Lions. Look at Aaron Glenn. Look at Ben Johnson. They did something that people did not think that they could do. They have turned the Lions into perennial champions. But we got to cut because I'm getting the cue. But Joe Person, I know we'll have to have you come back again.
Yeah.
Norman Clement have to give you come back again. Mm-hmm. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin. We've got another show that we've got to move over to be able to go and allow to come on.
Right.
But want to thank Tim Smith. Want to thank Henry Tyler. Want to thank R.J. Watkins. We keep him lifted up in prayer. Maxine Willis and everybody that is an integral part of WHPR TV. We want to thank you, and we hope that you have a very, very productive new year.